just like, this is just brilliant.
Welcome, Niyi.
Hey guys, sorry about that.
What's going on?
Welcome back.
That's
Welcome
okay.
back.
Welcome back. We're two good men. We roll with it. On this show, we roll with all the challenges. We overcome challenges on this show. We've had to overcome a few. But hey, we keep it going. So Niyi, beyond comic books, can you tell us another of your passions?
I collect sneakers.
Okay.
I love collecting sneakers. Is my audio better now, by the way?
Much better.
Yes, much better, yeah.
All right. So I started collecting sneakers in 2005, but it was just a one odd sneaker here every other month. But then that kind of snowballed. And I think the background to my passion for sneakers just comes, it's two things, it's twofold. One, I just love colors. I love a blend of colors. I'm a colorful guy when it comes to the way I dress. And I don't mean that to say I'm flamboyant in the way I dress. I just like to mix colors, and I like to mix them. I like options. That's one. And two, I think growing up, it was one of those scenarios where it was good and bad, where my parents said yes. They saw that I had a covetous eye for things that were good, and they didn't want that to sort of permeate into adulthood. So they wanted to teach me a bit of restraint. So growing up, I didn't get the things I wanted in terms of sneakers or shoes. But then, obviously, as an adult, and now understanding that, vanity is what it is. I don't do this to be vain. I collect sneakers only because it's a passion. It's something that appeals to me. It's another sort of distraction. The same men have different vices. For me, my vices are fashion, comics, and sneakers. So, yeah. And in terms of how many sneakers I have collected to date, that number kind of varies between 150 and 200, depending on how many I can sell or buy at points in time.
Wow, that's
because I've not gotten into the habit of, if I'm not using it for 6 months plus, I'll just sell it.
Okay, that's interesting.
Are you brand loyal, or
Yeah.
do you just go with the flow?
I go with the flow, but in the last half decade, it's been Adidas, like literally. Something about the three stripes just speaks retro.
Yeah,
They are, and in terms of how I sort of dress, my dressing is sort of vintage and retro inspired. So I'm the kind of guy that will spend the weekend going into Camden Town, looking at sort of vintage stores or even vintage online stores to get stuff. And I think Adidas kind of works better with the whole retro vibe. So in the last half decade, it's literally, if you look here, there's a lot more Adidas stripes. I mean, if I could show you, there's just the boxes that I've arranged in the last month, but there's loads somewhere else in the loft here that drives my wife crazy, that I shouldn't even left her. I'd only have one pair of sneakers, which is not going to happen. So,
Did you ever get into Yeezys?
I did and didn't, because the other thing that I try not to do. So before the concept of a sneakerhead became a thing, I was already collecting sneakers, but then I got sucked up into the whole sneakerhead culture where the hype shoe became a thing. And the hype shoe concept is where the big brands, Nike and Adidas predominantly, would collaborate with a crossover person, like a sports person, like a big name sports person like Jordan, Kyrie, or with a big fashion music icon. So Kanye, Travis Scott. Then they have the whole hype shoe concept or culture. I kind of dipped into that, then realized that the concept of hype is not what I'm all about. I just want shoes that are general release for every man, stuff that appeals to me. The hype shoes, I'm not stupid enough to spend $5,000 on a pair of sneakers because they're hype release, or queue for hours on end to get a pair of sneakers for 500 to £1,000. It just doesn't make any sense. And speaking of the Yeezys, I did have a pair, that I queued up for at the time. I probably won it just 3 times in the last 5 years. So what's that about? I've got a pair of Jordans here that are reselling in the market for about 2 grand. I've
Wow.
never worn them. They're still in the box. I'll show them to you. They're still in the box here somewhere. They were collaboration with a Californian sneaker house called Union LA. Some of you guys might have seen it. These fresh out the box. I bought them.
You've never worn them.
Never worn them. So the clips are here somewhere. You know. But these are on resale for about 2 grand. I got them
Wow.
retail, by the way, so I didn't pay that money for them, but I've never worn them. I don't know if I'm ever going to wear them.
So you just
So
have
yeah,
2 grand
so that's
parked in your loft. So
bro.
would you call it an investment? Would you call it an investment?
No, some people would see it that way. For me, I buy sneakers to wear them. If they become something that has a value, yeah, but that's never the drive. The drive for me is actually, Laomi would know this. My Instagram page is a page dedicated to guys our age, showing them that look, in our 40s, you can still dress and be okay. You can still be you. It's still good to be flashy, to be colorful, to be retro. Just own your own little space. And I think my love for sneakers and the way I kind of mix that into my day to day kind of shows that as well.
Your
I
personality
think
comes
it didn't
out.
start off that way, but I just thought, look, at the end of the day, just and I think as guys, again, this is another sort of segue into the way society tells us to be a certain way as Nigerian men as well of a certain age. You can't wear this kind of dress, you can't wear this kind of hair. Allow me, you would know because you're the lord of the twisted hair. I'm sure you get loads of stares from people saying that you shouldn't be doing your hair like this out there. Exactly.
I wish I even still had
So
it.
yeah, so that's. And I mean, you can twist your game now.
Look, I should lock the gray.
Standard.
I like that.
Don't tell your madam that came from me.
Classic.
Can you still hear me? It's gonna be weird.
We heard it loud and clear.
Can you guys still hear me?
We can hear
you loud and clear. Loud and
just
clear.
laughing.
We're laughing. Yeah, though. Anyway, I get those comments all the time. What I was asking you about wearing your sneakers. I had this pair of Jordans that I bought in LA 2004, 2005. And I just loved these my Jordans. And I came back to Nigeria and I maybe rocked them twice because it was hot and whatever it is. And then one day, like 3 years ago, I wanted to wear them. And I tried to put them out I brought them out of the box. And they had fallen apart.
Yeah.
Well, it's Lekki. It's the environment in Lekki. The shoes had literally fallen apart.
And they all and the PVC on them oxidizes after a while. So for these, for example, I need to take them out the box once a month and walk around the house with them, or else they'll oxidize.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can imagine that would happen with the humidity with the humidity back home as well.
I wept. I had there were three pairs of my sneakers that were just in that. When you really love them and you realize that if I rock these things too often, they're just going to die.
Yeah. So you were keeping them. You were keeping them, but then they died.
I wasn't keeping them, but it's not like you're keeping them, but you rock them once in a while. Like you just rock them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you were just dead. I cried. Who do we go? But you're telling us about
what are you talking about? My Instagram?
Yes, your Instagram and your fashion. Tell us about your fashion, because you're talking about your Instagram. Well, talking about how you.
Yeah, I think the whole thing started. Actually, I think it was yourself and Yinka that got me into setting up my Instagram account and using that to sort of showcase something. Because at the time, I think we were in Dubai for something, and you guys challenged me about. I think
It was
I just bought a pair of
was it my
sneakers, and you're
stag
like,
do?
ah,
Was
this
it my
guy, do
stag
this, do
do?
that.
Was it? I think it was my stag do. We're in Dubai for my
I
stag
think,
do.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. And at the
yeah.
time, I just, so I have you to thank for that, by the way, yourself and Yinka. So I think I just did something, and I put up a post, and I just took a picture of my feet wearing these sneakers that I had bought, and I think I tagged you guys, and that was it for like months on end. I didn't do anything with it. It wasn't until later that I started thinking, hang on a second, and I started mixing all those ideas of guys our age, how we dress, things we're told we can't do, and just my personality and how I wanted to just let that come across and show guys our age that you can do these things and still be comfortable in your own space. And I think in the last 4 years, I've used that page to tell that story. And I think most of my friends would agree that what they see or the representation of me they see online is true to self. I'm not acting.
Yes.
It is
Yeah.
me. It's the way I dress on a daily. So, I hope in one way, shape, or form, I have had feedback from people to say, "Oh, dude, thanks. Sometimes I look at your page for inspiration to do this." I said, "Okay, cool. If I can reach one person, then my job is done." Because I think that hive mentality of, "Oh, you have to look a certain way," I totally do not agree with it. I think there's a space for everybody, and I actually think that dressing is an expression, and I think we need to express ourselves a lot more. Sorry, I hate to sound like that, but the truth
Absolutely.
is,
No, it's your
No,
truth. You
no,
have to
feel
live your
free,
truth,
feel
bro.
free, feel free. Well, we understand.
Please live your truth, my brother. I the notion that you have to act your age. I rebel
mm,
against that, as you know. I rebel against the notion of act your age. I go
yeah,
to your youth. I see you on. I mean, you flash on my Instagram feed, or I go and check you
mm,
out. And for me, it's about. I'm always excited to see you just living your truth. And I'm going to put up a link to Niyi's Instagram at some point. But Niyi, do you want to tell us the name of your Instagram name?
it's
Unless you want to keep it private. Unless you want to keep it
it's
private.
actually no, it's fine, it's cool. It's actually based on my middle name, Iyonda, but
Yeah,
it's
okay.
spelled
Yeah.
slightly differently. Yeah, yeah, it's Iyaundah. The actual spelling is Iyaanda, but obviously, as it goes, all the obvious handles were taken, so I had to improvise as you do. But I think the one thing I also wanted to sort of bring out with respect to that, to the page and what I do with it as well, is it helps me to keep that creative side alive. And I think that's quite key for anyone who's listening and is a creative, because that sort of expectation of responsibility and life. Obviously, life comes with responsibilities. We've got bills, we've got kids, wives, we're men, we have to be there, show up for sports days, all these types of things. So we kind of get lost in our responsibilities, and you lose that sense of true self. What I find with my page and my fashion and the kind of things I do is it helps me create a pocket where I feel like I'm still true to what makes me me at my core. So for for example, on a weekend where I go out and I call it a shoot, it's not necessarily a professional shoot, but I just have a guy who I call up. We go to a location, he's got his camera, we do a couple of takes, videos, photos. We talk about the concept of what we're trying to achieve. I've done a couple of things where I probably just, it's a concept around me getting a coffee, me taking the tube, but then I try to tell a story with the outfit, the sneakers, the music. It's all rolled up into one. That whole process could take something from 5 to 10 hours in that weekend. Then that keeps me engaged. That allows some space in my head to say I've done something creative. I've done something for me. And I would just encourage our friends, our colleagues, our compadres to do something outside of what's expected, the norm, to just sort of keep the essence of yourself alive.
Yeah, I like what you just said, Niyi, because at the end of the day, we're all creatives because we were created by a creator. So a creator creates creatives. So you have to find your passion. And back to the topic, it's your passion that will help you to create. If your passion is talking, like Laomi and I, obviously we talk. So hence to Groawn Men. It's part of our passion. You like comics, you like.
I love it. Yeah.
Look at your background. We can see both passions in the same background. Sneakers
in the same
on
frame.
one side, comics on the other side. So you're living your passion. So it's not just
100%.
enough to have a passion, but you have to live it as well. So I like what you just said.
Yeah.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Because I've spoken to friends who, they'll share and they'll say, "Look, I wish I could do what you were doing, but I just find that I'm stuck. I can't find a way out." And I say, "Look, dude, like you just said, we all have something that we can create. It doesn't have to be art. It could be something else. It could be giving back. It could be, there's a space for us all to do something creative with our time outside of what the expected norm is."
Absolutely.
But again, I go back to that mental awareness, that creating those pathways in there, because a lot of people going through it right now, man.
Yeah.
So a lot of people,
So
no. Well said. And it helps. It helps, like you said, free up the noise. There's a lot of noise going on.
I like that word, the noise. I love it. That's it. That's the right word. There's a lot of noise. The weekends I dedicate to go out and do my photo shoots are the liveliest I am. Don't get me wrong. I love my day job. Like I love what I do. I work in financial services. I work as a project manager for a Japanese bank. I love it. But I also look forward to my weekends when I can actually create something. It's a bit daunting at times because you have to be in public spaces, taking photos, doing a video. People are wondering what's this guy about. But then if there's people out there that actually look at what you're doing and can relate to it, then it kind of tells you that you're doing something right. I think I was saying to Red last week, probably must have I don't know if I mentioned it to Naomi, but I've had people actually, editorials, reach out to me and ask me to do stuff for them, things in the pipeline. So that's, some will call it an additional revenue stream. I like that. But for me, it's more the fact that people see what I'm doing and they're like, I can relate to that guy. I think he's telling a story that other guys his age can relate to. Let's tap into that. And I think one thing I have definitely noticed is my character comes more alive when I'm doing those things. In my 9 to 5, don't get me wrong, I do what I need to do, but I can't be the real me in the workspace. The weekend, freaks come out. I do my thing. Not that I'm a freak, by the way.
I was just gonna.
This guy was that in the background there.
It was my guy in there.
Yeah, that's serious.
In the background. That's my guy in the background.
That's serious.
I can relate to, every day. I'm blessed enough to work for me. I'm blessed enough to work in an industry where I don't have to wear a suit to work.
Yeah.
But people still look at you and judge you by how you look.
Yeah.
People are still looking at you and expecting you to fit into a particular mold, be a particular character. And the way I wear my hair, and I talk about that. Look, if you understand why I wear my hair the way I wear my hair, you'll get. We're not how we appear, but we are a product of our story, right? Our story shapes who we are. Our journey shapes who we are. But for the most of us, or the majority of us, having to fit into this corporate world means that we have to look a particular way. If you work in a 9 to 5, but being you, being able to express yourself, you know, being able to, I go on your page and I see you. Sometimes I'm like, no, this guy. But there's always that respect from me, this guy has the freedom, like the true freedom to be. It's almost like back to what we're talking about, but being a superhero on some level. You play a project manager, 95 guy, career guy during the week. And then
I love the way you do. Actually, I like that.
You know,
the alter ego comes out.
And on the weekend, the real person, the real you comes out. And that guy that comes out on the weekend is the person that you are happy to be.
100%. I couldn't agree. I couldn't agree anymore.
But apart from comic books, tell us about your comic books and fashion. There are a couple of other things that you like doing or that you've done in the past in the creative
space. Wow. Wow.
You can decline. You can decline. You can say
no. It's fine. It's fine. I think my friends who are going to be watching this are going to have a laugh. So for anybody our age who remembers, there was, I think it was in 2004 or 2003, 2004, thereabouts. My claim to fame was the advert I did for MTN, the Sunrise advert. I don't know if you guys, I don't know if you guys have seen. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but allow me. You can probably put a link to it at some point in time for people.
We'll bring it up. We'll bring it up. Don't worry. We'll bring it up. We'll find it
for people.
So thank you for staying with us to the end. Special thanks to Niyi for sharing his passions. And like we said earlier, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Don't forget to also follow your passions. If there's anything you took out of this episode, you heard these two talented gentlemen talk about their love, their absolute admiration and love for comics, and they took us through a journey. So if you love comics as well, or you love any other passion, make sure you put it in the comment section. Allow me.
Everyone, thank you very much for watching us. Niyi, thank you once again for honoring us with your presence. To everyone watching us, if you have choose something different today. Try something different. What do you have to lose? Absolutely nothing. One life, people. I hate to be morbid. You have only one life. You might as well just explore it. All right. Thank you very much.
One life to live.
One life to live. One life to live. Yeah. That's it. That's it. Yeah.
Thanks for having me on, guys. I appreciate it. Keep doing what you do.
Yeah. Cheers.
Thank you, bro.